Ladies, can I tell you something a bit embarrassing? Last spring, I went to a brunch with my church ladies. Hats, florals, all the fixings. I wore my favorite pale blue blouse and spritzed myself with what I thought was the perfect scent. Light, clean, a little floral. Just enough to say, I made an effort. It's one I've worn for years, maybe decades. I hugged one of the younger girls from the choir. Sweet thing, mid-20s, smells like a Pinterest board. And she said with a gentle smile, "You remind me of my great aunt." Ouch! Not my mum. Not my stylish friend's mum. Great aunt. Now I know she meant it kindly. But I also know what she meant. I smelled old. Not classic. Not elegant. Just old. And here's the kicker. I'd done everything I thought would make me smell clean and fresh. That's when I started wondering, could the very scents I've always trusted be turning on me? Well, darling, I did some digging, and I had no idea how deep this rabbit hole went. Turns out, as we age, the way fragrance reacts with our skin changes. Our hormones shift, our skin gets drier, our body chemistry evolves. So what once smelled light and crisp in our 40s might turn musty, sour, or powdery in our 60s and beyond. And no, it's not just in your head. Dermatologists and fragrance experts alike agree. Certain scents, especially ones we associate with freshness, can actually amplify the natural changes in our skin and make us smell older than we are. So I started paying attention, testing, spraying different perfumes on different parts of my arms, and sniffing like a madwoman in the living room. I even asked my granddaughter to give me honest feedback, which, in hindsight, might have been a mistake. That girl has no filter. What I found shocked me. The scents we were sold in department stores as elegant, timeless, or feminine are often the exact ones clinging to us in all the wrong ways. And here's the thing. Smelling older doesn't mean you've done something wrong. It's just that nobody ever told us how scents age, or how we can age with them, not against them. So that's why I made this list. I'm going to walk you through the 5 fresh scents that might actually be aging you, with science, solutions, and just a sprinkle of sass. Trust me, you'll want to stick around to number 5. That one had me clearing out my perfume tray like it was 2002, and I just found out glitter eyeshadow was a bad idea. We'll start in the next part with the one I had the hardest time letting go, powdery florals. Oh yes, that soft grandma hug in a bottle you've been clinging to? It might just be your olfactory enemy. Let's get into it. All right, let's talk about the first culprit. This one hurt, ladies. It really did. Because I loved her. I trusted her. She sat on my dresser for over 20 years like a loyal friend. Powdery florals. You know the ones. Rose, violet, lilac, iris, with that soft baby powder finish. On paper, they sound lovely. Dainty, feminine, gentle. And they were. For our mothers. Maybe even for us once upon a time. But let me ask you this. When was the last time you smelled powdery floral on a young woman? Exactly. It's not part of the modern fragrance language anymore. And when we wear it, even with the best intentions, our scent screams vintage in a way that isn't flattering. Here's the science bit. As we get older, our olfactory receptors dull a bit, so we tend to lean toward stronger, more noticeable scents. We start over-applying without even realizing it. Combine that with drier, more mature skin, and a scent that was once soft and romantic can quickly become stale, musty, or overly sweet. I remember attending a garden party last year. Sun shining, tables set with lemonade and scones. I sat next to this wonderful woman named Patty, all done up in pearls and a lovely brooch. But the moment she sat down, the air around her turned thick, cloying, like baby powder mixed with artificial roses and a little splash of furniture polish. Now listen, Patty is a gem, but that perfume aged her by at least a decade. And I know I'm being blunt, but no one ever told us these things growing up, did they? So if you've got something on your vanity with words like petal, powder, or anything that reminds you of a dressing table in 1958, maybe give it a break. I'm not saying throw it out, but rotate it. Save it for bedtime if you still love the comfort of it. Instead, look for florals that have a green, fresh twist. Like peony, freesia, or neroli. These still feel elegant, but with a modern energy that lifts your scent instead of anchoring it. And please, if you're going to wear florals, moisturize first. Scents sit better and last longer on well-hydrated skin. I use an unscented almond, oil base after the shower and let it soak in before I spritz. Now let's move on to our second sneaky offender. Clean linen or fresh cotton scents. Oh yes, I know. You're thinking, but those smell like laundry day. That's the problem. They don't smell like you. They smell like dryer sheets. And once mixed with body heat, sweat, or other natural oils, they can turn sharp, metallic, and even sour. These scents were made to mimic cleanliness, not create it. And when we wear them on our skin, especially in warmer weather, they can mix with the compounds our body naturally produces as we age, like nonylol, and actually magnify those old person odors we're trying to hide. I learned this the hard way. I used to love a certain cotton spray. I won't name names, but it rhymed with Feb smell. One summer I spritzed it on my neck, thinking I smelled fresh as a daisy. 10 minutes into a garden center trip, I bent down to check a pot of lavender, and I got hit with this whiff of something sharp and sour. It was me. I smelled like an old attic stuffed with mothballs and bounce sheets. That day, I started rethinking my definition of fresh. Real freshness, it turns out, isn't about covering up. It's about complementing your natural scent with notes that enhance warmth, lightness, and vitality. Try subtle citrus blends, light green tea, or a touch of herbal lavender, used sparingly. They read as clean without trying too hard. And let's be honest, we're not trying to smell like we just rolled out of a washing machine. We want to smell like the woman who owns the washing machine, knows how to use it, and still has time for tea and a cheeky Netflix binge. Next, I'll tell you about the scent that caught me completely off guard. I thought it was sexy and deep. My niece said it smelled like her ex-boyfriend's dad. Spoiler, musk is coming for your dignity. Now, this next one's a heartbreaker. Because for years I thought I had found my signature scent. I called it my evening perfume. You know the one. A little dab behind the ears before dinner with the girls, or an anniversary dinner with the mister. It made me feel womanly. Musk. Yes, I said it. Musk. Once the queen of sensual perfumes. It's been in everything, from high-end designer blends to drugstore classics. And don't get me wrong, musk has its place in history. But if you're over 60 and still relying on heavy, musky fragrances to feel elegant, I need to tell you something gently. They may be working against you. Here's what I didn't know. As we age, our skin chemistry changes. We produce less oil, our pH balance shifts, and our hormones play musical chairs. All of that means that scents, especially strong animalic ones like musk, can take on a completely different personality on our skin. What used to smell sultry at 30 might smell stale or even sour at 65. I found this out the hard way. Last Thanksgiving, I was feeling myself. Fresh blouse, new lipstick, and a generous spritz of my beloved musk-based perfume. My niece gave me a hug, paused, and said, "Oh, Auntie, you smell just like my high school gym teacher." Not what I was going for. Later that evening, my daughter pulled me aside and said kindly, "Mum, that perfume smells mature." Mature? The polite word for dated. And she was right. I'd gone nose blind to it. What once made me feel mysterious and powerful now just lingered. But don't worry. I didn't give up on feeling sexy. I just swapped heavy musk for something lighter with a soft wood base, like sandalwood, cedar, or vetiver. These still give warmth and depth but don't overpower, and they play nicely with aging skin. Here's another tip. If you've been using the same perfume since the 80s, it's time to check the bottle. Fragrance formulas change over time. What you think you're wearing might not even smell like it used to. Our noses change, but so do the blends themselves. Even classics have been reformulated quietly in the background. That could be why your once elegant scent now leaves a strange after smell. Now let's move to another fresh disaster that fooled me for years. Cucumber melon. Yes, I'm calling it out. The darling of the 90s. The scent of mall stores and body sprays. And I admit it, I loved it. It smelled like youth in a bottle. Light, watery, sweet. But sweet in the way of lip gloss and sticker books. The truth is, anything overly fruity or synthetic smelling screams trying too hard. When we wear sugary, juvenile scents past a certain age, it creates a disconnect. The body says, "wise woman," but the scent says, "teenager's gym bag." And instead of smelling younger, we just smell off. I once wore a cucumber melon lotion to a Zumba class thinking I smelled sporty and clean. The woman next to me, sweet girl, maybe 30, turned and asked, "Did someone just open a Jolly Rancher in here?" My cheeks turned the same shade as my workout tank. Ladies, here's the truth. Sweet, syrupy scents don't age well on skin that's lost some of its natural moisture. They become sharp, sticky, and honestly, a bit desperate. If you like a bit of fruity flair, opt for citrus with a twist, like grapefruit with basil, or lemon with a hint of ginger. These combinations feel grown, grounded, and still refreshing. And remember, less is more, always. Before we wrap up this part, here's a quick sniff test tip I live by now. Spray your perfume on a cotton ball and place it in a sealed sandwich. Bag for a few hours. Then open it and take a whiff. That's how other people smell it after it settles. If it makes your nose wrinkle or reminds you of your old high school prom, it's time for a change. We've tackled florals, cottons, musks, and melons. But next, I'm going to tell you the one scent I thought was helping me feel posh and elegant, but actually made people think I'd just come from a dusty antiques shop. It's the most surprising of all. And yes, it's in more perfumes than you'd believe. Now, I saved this one for last because it shocked me the most. It's the scent I used to think of as the gold standard for clean and classy. The one that felt safe, feminine, elegant. The one my own mother wore. Powdery perfume. Yes, baby powder, face powder. That soft floral cloud that follows you like a puff of nostalgia. For years, I believed this was the mature woman's answer to anything too loud or sugary. It was timeless, wasn't it? Well, turns out some timeless things are best left in time. Let me tell you what my dermatologist said after a routine checkup. I asked her what scent she wore because she always smelled so light and lovely. Not like perfume, just pleasant. And she said, honestly, I avoid powdery perfumes. They cling to the air and settle into the fabric of your clothes, and hair in a way that adds years, not charm. That hit me. She explained something I'll never forget. Powdery scents don't just smell old, they symbolize old. Because for decades, they were the dominant base note in everything from cold cream to deodorant. So, even if the bottle's brand new, the smell tells a story from the 1950s. And here's the kicker. Powdery notes mixed with the natural dryness of aging skin in a way that exaggerates that chalky, stale effect. What was once soft now becomes dusty. Not the vibe I was going for. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with honoring the past. But we don't need to smell like a vintage drawer sachet to feel dignified. So what do I wear now? I switched to skin scents. Those barely there subtle fragrances that blend with your natural body chemistry, instead of covering it up. Think clean linen, a touch of neroli, maybe a whisper of green tea or fig leaf. Something that smells like you. On your best day, after a fresh shower, wrapped in a soft cardigan with a breeze coming through the window. That's my goal now, to smell like me, just better. And here's a little ritual I do now when I shop. For a scent, I don't spray it on the paper strip. I spray it on my wrist and go for a walk. I give it a full hour. Because a scent's dry down, how it smells after it's been sitting on your skin is the truth. That's the scent that lingers, in elevators and on pillowcases. If you still love it an hour later, then you've got a winner. Now, before we end, let me give you 3 quick fragrance refresh rules that changed my life. Less is lovely, especially as we age. A dab behind the ears or at the wrists is all you need. Our noses get used to our perfumes, but other people still smell every note. Go seasonal. In summer, I wear light citrus or green scents. In winter, I switch to something woody or spicy, but still airy. No syrupy heaviness. Fragrance isn't just perfume. It's your shampoo, your lotion, your laundry detergent. All of these build your personal scent profile. If you're wearing 5 different fresh linen products layered with a powdery floral perfume, your scent story gets confusing, and not in a good way. And if you're not ready to give up a beloved fragrance just yet, that's okay too. Maybe just wear a little less, or pair it with a modern body lotion to balance things out. Aging doesn't mean we throw everything out. It just means we refine. Here's what I tell my friends now. Your scent should arrive gently and leave a whisper. It shouldn't announce you like a marching band. It should feel like someone walked through a memory and smiled, because at the end of the day, smelling older is optional. We don't need to chase youth through perfume bottles, but we can age freshly, intentionally, and with grace. So the next time you reach for that old faithful fragrance, take a pause. Ask yourself, is this me today, or who I used to be? And if you made it to the end of this little scent journey, with me, you are my kind of woman. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Savvy Senior channel, and leave a comment below. I'm aging like a fine fragrance. And if you'd like a cheat sheet of age-friendly scents and skincare tips to help your perfume last longer without turning sour, sign up for my free Savvy Senior scent guide in the description. Stay fresh, stay fabulous, and remember, you don't need to smell young to smell amazing. You just need to smell like you and do it with style.